Right now, we have these escalating tensions between ICE and the United States of America citizens. You see, ICE cuts across. ICE does not recognize you are white, black, Latina, Chinese, Somali. Now they don't recognize that. They feel like they have full immunity. And this stance has pushed Americans towards, I can call it a desperate option, according to them, according to my understanding, sorry. So we know that we have groups such as Black Panther. You know, it was a group that existed in the 1960s. And later on, the American government disbanded it, right? But later on, it came and it developed small groups. After being disbanded, it formed small groups that are there to provide self-defense for the black people in the face of racism, right? So Black Panther was developed to protect black people as a form of self-defense. Right now, the white Americans and the Latinas and the Somalis are requesting to be joining these Black Panther as a form of protection against ICE, right? And it's very interesting that what they perceived to be evil in the past is what they perceive good, and they want to be part of it, right? It's mind-blowing.
Hello, guys. I'm here to talk about the Black Panthers versus ICE in Philly. And now the Black Panther has changed. They have like Spanish people in it. And I think it's even more powerful now because of the fact they let the Latins in there, you know. And to me, it doesn't matter because if you look up history, Puerto Ricans been fighting for America and fighting in wars, and we never got the same rights as the Americans, and we've been fighting besides side by side by the black community. But a lot of people won't admit that. But y'all need to look up your history. And also too, you know, I don't think that ICE is ready for the Black Panthers, because the Black Panthers, y'all know their history, they willing to die for their causes. So I don't think ICE is ready for that drama. Let me know what y'all guys think, but I don't think so. And also too, you know, Malcolm X was like, that's my favorite one. I look up to him because Malcolm X was like, by any means necessary. I actually named my son Malcolm X, and in school, everybody loves his name. My daughter was just telling me, he just got to my school and he's so popular. Everybody be like, oh, that's Malcolm X's sister. I named him that, and you don't have to be black. I named him that to keep his legacy alive. Because Malcolm X wasn't prejudiced against Spanish people, against white people. He accepted us all. And he never, like, was like, no, you can't come in here because you're Puerto Rican. No, you can't come in here because you're Mexican. No, you can't come in here because you're white. No, he accepted us all. And what I love about Malcolm X is his gangster. By any means necessary. That man was standing in his house with his rifle ready. And he had the right to motherfucking defend himself. Fuck out of here. And the way they took his life, that broke my heart. You know, because us Puerto Ricans, we looked up to him like he was God, you know? And he's still God in our eyes, no matter what anybody says, like, oh, you're not black, you're not supposed to be, you know, looking up to him. And no, Malcolm X didn't treat us like that. So we're not going to treat him like that. Malcolm X has actually accepted us. So there's no way, like, and I don't know where y'all from, but in my hood, you Spanish and somebody's messing with somebody that's black, we stick together. I don't know about y'all hood, but in my hood, we stick together. We not with all that racist shit. You know, a lot of people, they want to be racist, and that's the problem. Like, a skin color is just a skin color. It doesn't matter if you're purple, black, you pink. Like, it doesn't matter. We all human beings at the end of the day, and that's what the whole entire America is failing to realize. And this is why we're going to go to World War III, because of all this shit that's happening with ICE discriminating, stopping anybody. It don't matter if you're black, Puerto Rican, and Dominican, and Ecuador. If you're purple, like, they don't care. They out here to kill us. So for one thing for sure, and two things for certain, I see any injustice shit when I'm out there against my people, which is Puerto Ricans, blacks, Mexicans, Ecuador. If a motherfucker want to run in my house, they can run in my house. Because they going to fuck around and find out. Real quick, you run this bitch. Fuck out of here. I'm like Malcolm X by any means necessary, bitch. It's not going to be my life. It's going to be your motherfucking life at the end of the day. But the Black Panthers is nothing to fuck with. So I don't think ICE is ready for that drama. Because ICE, Black Panthers, they be ready to die. Black Panthers is by any means necessary. And the fact that they got Hispanic people in there, I think it's so great that they, they like, united we stand, and that's how it has to be. That's how it has to be. But ICE is definitely going to fuck around and find out with the Black Panthers. Let me know what y'all guys think in the comments. Bye, bubblegum girlies.
Oh my God, the Black Panther Party is back. The Black Panther Party is back. That's actually like iconic, but that's actually crazy. But that's amazing. The Black Panther Party is back. Never said that it didn't really go, but like official chapter.
So everyone in the United States is raving right now because the Black Panthers with the self-defense group just came out to the ICE protests with guns, straight up guns strapped up all over them, ready for war pretty much. And everyone that is not black is like, oh my God, yeah, the Black Panthers. And like, I've seen a couple black people that are really happy about it. But I don't know if this is just me, but I'm not really that happy about it. I'm just so tired of it having to be us, that it has to always be us that come out, to like save the day. Because I always will feel like white people should be the ones that are holding their fucking guns. You guys hold guns every day, all year long, in hospitals, in schools, in fucking movie theaters, in concerts. You bring your guns everywhere, except for where it matters. But of course, leave it to the black people. Leave it to the black people who get caught with a water gun at the age of 3 years old and get shot dead by police on their own lawns, to go outside with real guns protesting against the most corrupt police in the Western world. I 100% understand why the black community is in support of the Mexicans. I am 100% in support of not only the Mexicans, but everybody that is targeted by ICE. I'm just 100% against ICE. But I understand why the black people are supporting the people being targeted by ICE. But at the same time, I just wish it was the white people first this time. Like, I really wish that the white people, for once in their whole lives, in their whole existence on this earth, just for once, were the first ones, to start a little revolution, like try to push it, like, you know what, guys, we're sorry, we're ready to die for you. Because that's what they owe us. But thank you to the Black Panthers, because those are my people. I drip blood for Black Panthers. I drip blood for Malcolm X. And I will drip blood. I'll draw blood.
Y'all, I don't know what the F is going on. I'm about to show you something. So, America is so desperate for us to get involved in this ICE fight that they presented a Black Panther group. Yeah, I'm about to show you the Black Panther group, okay, that they presented that's supposed to...
And on behalf of the Black Panther Party, well, this cop is a good cop, and this cop is a good cop. Once they to the slave catcher patrol, and I take it, they call up police officers now, but their name is slave catcher patrol. That's what they is. That's what they always have been. Every black officer out there, shame on you. You know how the black police officer came into fruition?
Ma'am, who are these people? Now, before I get into it, I appreciate anybody who is trying to stand up for justice, okay? Whether they are pink, red, green, whatever, right? However, what the... is this? Now, this is the most multicultural, this looks like the United Nations. And not only that, like, sis with the like striped dress, like, who is she running after? Like, who is she trying to fight? Like, how's she gonna fight in a dress? And then she had a little bow tie, her little tie on, her little ribbon. It just, I don't know what, I'm confused. I'm confused. This is not the Black Panther Party. This is more like the Multicultural Party. I don't know what's going on here. They are so desperate to try to get us involved that they're trying to put a makeshift group together and then put them out there. Because first of all, how is this even getting pressed? Like, what have they even done to stop ICE? Like, I don't even know what's going on with this or whatever. I can't say at this point whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats. I used to think it was the Democrats, but now it's getting so ridiculous that it might be both of them. They may want like a civil war or something, because this is getting crazy. Then not only that, like, you see all these young streamers like going to Africa all of a sudden. All of a sudden, y'all want to go to Africa. And then first they tried Sierra, then they tried like a couple other people. I guess that didn't work. So now they're getting streamers involved to go to Africa. I mean, America is losing its mind, y'all. Like, they are really doing a real big psyop and propaganda on us because we're delineating and we're not fighting for these people. They don't know what to do. They have no idea what to do. I think what's happening partly is, I think the Republicans want an excuse to bear down on us. They want an excuse to bear down on us, okay? Like, I feel like the Republicans are like, they're itching. They can legally go after the immigrants, right? They can legally go after them, but they can't really legally go after us, though they want to, because that would tie them up in courts and we could sue and all types of stuff. So I feel like in order for them to kind of get the situation under control, if we fight on behalf of other people that's illegal, then they have grounds to come after us. Okay, so that's step one. I think that's step one. I think that's what's going on. I think step two is the Democrats look very, very, very weak right now. Like, super weak, super inept. And they keep complaining about what the Republicans are doing, but yet they're not doing anything. And that's raising questions too. Because it's like, okay, if you're supposed to be against these people and you're supposed to be fighting for us, how come you keep losing over and over again? How come you're not doing anything? Which kind of highlights the fact that all these people are in bed together, which I've been saying, which almost all of us knew. These people always been in bed together, always. And now that we're out of the equation and we're not fighting for all these dang on groups anymore, things are starting to, like, the mask has fallen off. And people are like, whoa, like, now they see what police brutality looks like. Now they see the Democrats ain't really helping nobody. Now they see that people are bullies and, will do anything that they want to do. And there's no recourse, at least not for years. And so I feel like they had, like, the Democrats, Republicans had some plans. They had some plans for America. And I feel like we were a key piece to that plan. And we're just not, and they just didn't have us not participating in their bingo card. Like, they just assumed we were going to constantly be reactionary. So I feel like they felt like whatever plan, and the small hats too, definitely the small hats, whatever plan they had, it was to get us to get involved so they can legally come after us, because they can't legally come after us for birthright citizenship. They can legally come after everybody else for birthright citizenship. And you see what happened to the young woman, Renee Good, God rest her soul, who got involved, who's obviously a citizen. But what did they do to her? They unalived her, right? To get to the immigrants. See, they want us to be that. They have to satisfy the YT men who are not elite, who are not college educated, but are very angry and want to, like, hurt somebody and want to oppress somebody. And they have to feed the wolves, or the wolves will turn against them. So those are the wolves. The elite YTs need to feed the bottom barrel YTs, or else those bottom barrel YTs will turn on them. So it's like, I remember somebody said, if you don't feed the wolves will eat you, right? So I think that they basically wanted us to be Renee Good. they wanted us to be the face of it because it's very different when you unalive one of us in the face for defending immigrants. Everybody's used to that and like, oh, those poor people, that's just too bad. It's very different when you're unaliving, even if she's LGBTQIA, which MAGA has a real big issue with. It's very different when you start unaliving her in front of her neighbors that look like her. So I think that like it's really hard because if Trump keeps pushing, ICE keeps pushing, then the white T people have to make a decision. Like the liberal white T people have to make a decision. Either they're going to concede and they're just going to bow down and accept it, or they're going to have to go into a civil war. And that could have all been avoided if we just got involved. If ethnic Black Americans just get involved, then the white people, the liberal people can just stay at home or hide behind us and just be like, oh, it's too bad they're getting, unalived, for everybody else's cause but their own. And the MAGA and the Republicans can justify, trying to press us and getting out all that racism on us or whatever, because we're getting in the way. But since we've removed ourselves from the equation and we're like, well, we're not immigrants, so we don't have a problem. We're not going to get deported. Like, where are you going to deport us to? Like, what, back to Georgia, our origins, back to Virginia, back to South Carolina? Like, what? So we're good. And then it's like, well, and then we also found out that these people you want us to fight for don't ever fight for us. They're white supremacists too. They agree with you all the time. So they might as well go fight their own battles. And so nobody gets to be safe anymore. Everybody has to like recalibrate. It's like it's like a team doesn't know what to do when the star player is sitting on the bench. Like everybody's star player is sitting on the bench, whether it's the antagonist or the protagonist. So for the Democrats, they didn't appreciate their star player. They didn't want to pay us nothing. Every time we got credit for something, they wanted to take it away from us. And so the star player is like, yo, well, I'm just going to sit this one out. I'm going to sit these games out. And so the team is losing terribly. And now they're seeing that like who the star player really was. And the star player is like, well, I'm not participating. They're trying to get the star player to play and do everything they can possible, except for give the star player their credit, give the star player the contract that they asked for. And so the teams are losing terribly, and it's illuminating how terrible that team is without their star player. The other team is like, okay, cool, we're going in. But they're so used to like, everybody knows who the star player is, and they're used to like, defending and playing against that star player and being mean to that star player. And everybody's usually like cool with that. But now since the star player is on the bench, now they have to bully every other person on the team to win. And now they look kind of like bad guys. They look kind of like who they are, wolves and mean people and terrible people. And now their bad habits and their bullying is being illuminated because everybody thought it was okay once it was that star player. Now the star player is out the picture and they're bullying all the other players every single game. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, like you guys are really like it's obvious. Like you can't hide behind comply. You can't hide behind, all this stuff because now you're bullying everybody. And so, yeah, y'all just keep delineating, keep sitting out. Keep telling these streamers like they're delusional for trying to pretend like somebody's paying them to go to Africa. It's probably these small hats, to be honest. Just keep sitting this one out. Delineation is so effective.
Let me ask y'all a question because I'm getting aggravated just a little bit, not too much. Why in the fuck is the Black Panthers mobilizing right now? For what? Why are they mobilizing, especially due to the situation that happened with Renee Good and against ICE? For what? For what? Why are y'all trying to get black people to mobilize and get them emotionally invested in this shit? Why? For what? Matter of fact, here's a better question. Where the fuck are y'all niggas at any other time when we have our young black men with all types of weapons, whether it's a Draco or an AR-15P, slinging 5.56s and 7.62s, and they hurting other black people? The Black Panther Party don't never mobilize when in Orangeburg, where we're destroying ourselves at an alarming rate. They don't never mobilize in Jacksonville, Florida. They don't never mobilize in Chicago. They don't never mobilize when we're doing something heinous to each other. They don't come out. You didn't come out with Dakara Thompson, who lost her life at the hands of an illegal immigrant. You didn't come out with Larisha Thompson from South Carolina, who lost her life at the hands of illegal immigrants. You didn't come out. And here now I'm looking at y'all talking about y'all mobilizing, talking about y'all standing for illegal immigrants, which, keep in mind, most of them being sent over here to replace your black ass any fucking ways. But never mind that. Why are y'all trying to get black people emotionally invested and behind this shit? For what? That's why I tell y'all all the time, these people come out when the narrative fits. When they want to put, when a narrative is being pushed, that's when they come out. So I can tell y'all like this, all right? To these so-called Black Panthers and, oh yeah, the Black Panthers is back. First of all, y'all standing for the wrong shit anyways, all right? So if you carry your ass out there with your weapons, with your little City Trends Temu vest on, with no plates, all right? When you go out there with your True Glow sights and True Glow is trash, when you go out there with that shit, and if one of them agents put a control pair in your ass, I don't want to hear shit about nobody fucking mobilizing. I don't want to hear anything, because that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit, and y'all don't want people to see that shit. I'm looking at some of y'all, oh yeah, the Black Panther stand for oppressed people no matter what. Shut the fuck up, man. Where the fuck was they at with Dakara Thompson? Huh? Where the fuck are they at in our communities when our young black boys are destroying each other, when block parties get fired up, when innocent black babies and children are in crossfire for bullshit beef? They're never around. Never. And now y'all ready to get behind these motherfuckers like they stand for something. Like they standing for something, bruh. They stand for something when the narrative fits. And that's all I got. So if you go out there and something fucked up happens to you, this black man will not be behind that shit. This black man will say, well, y'all went out there and y'all got what the fuck y'all asked for.
The last time we saw white people in the streets with the same level of hate and rage that we think we should be seeing now is when they were fighting segregation. Somebody had to say it. Argue with your mama. So, do y'all remember how Black Lives Matter protests were being talked about? Not discussed, but talked about. Riots, chaos, violence, animals. They were calling us animals. Every news segment looked like the apocalypse. One trash can on fire and suddenly the whole movement was criminal. It didn't matter that millions of people were marching peacefully. It didn't matter that we were begging for accountability. We were begging these people for accountability. All that mattered was, how fast can we shut this shit down? Now, look at how they're covering these No Kings protests and the ICE protests. And be serious for a second, because they out here throwing snowballs. Snowballs. They're laughing, they're bundled up, cosplaying rebellion. Meanwhile, in the same cities, their neighbors are getting slammed into walls, grabbed in front of their kids, kidnapped off the streets. And the coverage, what's that looking like? Emotions are running high, right? The people feel unheard. Concerns about government overreach. Concerns. And that's when it clicks. Black people protest, and the question is, how do we control them? When white people protest, the question is, how do we listen to them? Same streets, same disruption, wildly different tone. Now, back to when we saw white Americans as angry as they should be now. That was rage. That was mobs that we saw. That was screaming at kids walking into schools. That was violence wrapped in concern. And even then, it wasn't framed as extremism. It was framed as fear, as loss, as people struggling with change. Sound familiar? So when I see snowballs getting thrown while families are getting ripped apart, while they're attacking a car with kids inside, a black family's car with a baby inside, I don't think the media suddenly learned nuance. I think the empathy shows up when the protest looks like you. When the anger feels familiar. When the faces feel safe. When the rage doesn't threaten the hierarchy. It just asks for a better seat in it. BLM was treated like a threat to the country. These protests get treated like a disagreement with management. One gets militarized, the other gets moderated. So no, this isn't about peaceful versus violent.
This is about permission. Who's allowed to be angry without being criminalized? Who gets grace while others get cuffs? Who can throw snowballs while somebody else gets body slammed into a wall just for existing? And that, white America, that is why people are mad. Not because we don't understand what's happening, but because we understand it perfectly. Stop asking us what to do. Channel your ancestors.
There's been a lot of conversation about the Black Panthers in Philly and them joining the fight against ICE. And I just had a few thoughts about that. Number one, when you really think about it, this is the perfect opportunity. This is exactly what a lot of folk have been waiting for. And what I mean by that is this. When it comes to liberation or freedom or progress for Black people, minorities, or whoever you want to, put into that situation, a lot of folks that are in that quote-unquote fight or movement, that revolution, they are still stuck in the war phase, the fighting phase. A lot of people have not progressed past marching, protesting, going up against the system, standing up to power. They haven't moved past war, right? And so when there's a situation where there's a uprising and people are pushing back against law enforcement, this is the perfect opportunity for these individuals to show off and show out. Because once again, so many of us have not progressed past the war phase, the fighting phase. And so when you see an opportunity to get out in the streets and fight the power, this is what they've been waiting for. And so it really doesn't matter what group of people they're joining with and locking arms with. This is an opportunity to quote unquote fight, and so that's all they know, and so that's what's going on. It's really that simple. A lot of us have not moved past we're going to protest, we're going to march, we're going to stand out in the streets, we're going to get on bullhorns, we're going to hold signs. I'm not saying those things aren't necessary at certain times, but what I am saying is that wasn't supposed to be the only thing. When there are wars, eventually the war is over, and then you start to look to rebuild and replace and get into positions of power and shape, policy and own certain things. Like those are also steps after war. A lot of people are stuck on the fight the power phase, and the revolution will not be televised. We've been having some of the same sayings and the same quotes for many, many years now. And so that's why, because if you really think about it, these brothers are in Philadelphia, and if you look at a lot of the videos, it's not really nothing going on in Philly. And then if you look at some of I saw a video where they're going back and forth. They're not going back and forth with ICE officers. They're actually going back and forth with Black Philadelphia police. And the street is dead. There's nobody out there. There's nothing going on. This was an opportunity to say, hey, we fighting. And this is my second thought, because I started watching more and more videos and more statements from the brother that's in the forefront of this. And there have been questions about, his background, his nationality, and so forth and so on. And as I started listening to him talk and some of the videos that he's posting and the things that he's doing, listen, from his own mouth, he's basically, a street dude. And let's just be real. This is a good opportunity for this brother to get his name out there and grow a platform and grow his followers to where he can transition into a nice content creator, career. Like we got to be honest. This is a golden opportunity. After all of this stuff dies down, you launch your YouTube channel, you launch your podcast. the Fight the Power podcast, the new Black Panther podcast, whatever you want to call it, and you start doing them views and start doing them numbers, and you built a whole little lane for yourself to make some money. Like, let's just be real about what's probably going on here. Because once again, you in Philly, you're not fighting against ICE. You fighting with local law enforcement on the street where it's nobody outside. And you're already making videos addressing beefs that you got because people are questioning your street resume. And you're talking about the time you spend in jail and all this other. Like, listen. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but when I hear this stuff, I'm listening like, hold on. This might be this dude's, like, because you got to think about it. Without this situation going on in Minnesota, there wouldn't be any opportunity for this guy to stand outside and hold guns and get attention for it. This is the perfect opportunity for him to draw some attention to himself so that he can grow his name and his profile. And like the more and more he talks on video, it's like, yeah, I don't know about dude, you know? And so that's what I took away from that. Number one, hey, let's just sit back and watch, and as more and more stuff comes out, as this guy keeps talking, it's looking interesting, number one. And then number two, listen. A lot of people they haven't moved past war. And so any opportunity they find to get into one, regardless of what the cause is, they're going to go. And so, yeah, that's that.
Hi, it's me again. They say that the new Black Panthers are up in Philly armed and saying that they are there to confront ICE, to keep ICE out of the neighborhoods. Now, firstly, I'm just wondering, maybe they need to FA and FO, fire on federal officers. We all know how that's going to end. But the bigger question is this here. I had a cousin who was in the Panthers back in the 60s. Then they fought for the rights of people who were guilty of nothing more than just being black. Now, that's who the Black Panthers protected, but these new Black Panthers seem to be protecting criminals. These people have broken the laws of this nation, and yet they're protecting them. And I got news for some of you new Black Panthers. A lot of these people don't like you. They don't like black people at all. At all. And all people, all Americans, white, black, red, yellow, whatever color, we don't like the idea of our nation's borders being violated like this right here. So why are you protecting criminals? Why? I mean, you used to be protecting people who were not criminals. So why are you doing this right here? It makes me wonder, you need to let the federal law enforcement do what it's supposed to do. A lot of these people don't belong here. And they're taking away scarce resources. Think about it like this here. A lot of those resources could be going to the people that the original Black Panthers were formed to protect. Think about that. Hit the like button, hit the share.
So now, after clearly watching this video, here is my deep critical analysis. You see, the legacy of the original Black Panther Party has re-emerged as a direct response to a surge in the US immigration and custom enforcement activity. While the original 1960 organization officially was disbanded in 1982, new groups identifying as the Black Panther Party for self-defense have mobilized in major cities to protect marginalized communities from federal enforcement action. So keep in mind, it's a self-defense from federal actions. ICE is a member of these federal actions. What they do is a member of that. So the Black Panther Party in modern America, as we speak now, 2026, modern groups claiming the Black Panther name operate independently of the historical 1966 to the 1982 organization, but they adapt its iconography, such as black berets and leather jackets, to symbolize community defense. And I think most of them exist in Philadelphia. There's a state in America called Philadelphia. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. Is it a town or a state called Philadelphia? So the Black Party in modern America. So they have their own role and mission. You see, their current role now focuses on community defense and preparedness. They aim to provide a visible deterrent against what they describe as state violence and racialized policing. We also have direct action. In January 2026, members appeared at a high-profile anti-ICE protests in cities like Philadelphia and Minneapolis, sometimes carrying military-style weapons to protect a sense of protection for community members. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. The ICE versus the Black Panther members. Who will win? Ting ting. It's a royal rumble. Someone has met their opponent of equal weight. I'm not instigating anything. So they have what is called survival programs. You see, mimicking the original party's survival programs, modern chapters distribute food, clothing, and legal aid resources to families affected by poverty or immigration enforcement. Also, we have what is called controversy. You see, these groups are not officially affiliated with the original founders, and some critics, including descendants of original leaders like Fred Hampton, have expressed concern about their lack of vetting or potential for escalation, right? And sometimes I'm sitting back, I'm thinking that Trump is doing this for a reason. He wants to collide these two people for a reason so that he could activate the martial law, you know? Ideally, the army of any country is always there to protect the borders, the external forces from affecting the country. And it is the duty of the police to protect the internal, right? But only on special conditions, only on special, when special conditions are met, is the army brought inside, only if the law enforcement are incapable, right? That is what Trump is going to do. He's trying to set a trap so that he could activate the martial law. The martial law would allow the special units of the army to come and attack the black people. Yes. I'm saying this based on logic, based on the United States of American Constitution, and my constitution as well. It's not far different. You see, we have current situations with ICE. ICE has been a massive expansion ICE has seen a massive expansion under the current administration, leading to heightened tensions across the country. We've had mass deportation initiatives. ICE is the lead agency for a nationwide mass deportation campaign that began in 2025. As of early 2026, the agency has arrested over 328 people and currently holds more than 68,000 in detention. The Rene Good incident on January 7, 2026, an ICE officer shot and killed Rene Nicole Good, a 37-year-old woman, in her car in a place called Minneapolis. This event sparked a surge in anti-ICE protests and has led to the re-emergence of Black Panther branded groups who claim they would have protected the community had they been present. Are you smelling something? Militarization and tactics. Critics describe current ICE operations as militarized police force. Agents frequently use unmarked vehicles and civilian clothing to carry out raids in residential neighborhoods and workplaces. We have also expanded scope. While US traditionally targets non-citizens, there have been increasing reports of US citizens being detained or harassed during wide-scale enforcement action. But remember, there's a natural law that was pointed out by Isaac Newton. He said that for every action, there's a reaction. ICE is the action, Black Panther is the reaction. And you heard what they said. Were they present in the shooting of Renee Nicole Good? Or were they present in Minneapolis on that specific date? What turned out to be would not have turned out, right? Yep. This is Evan Commentary. I hope you've gained value from this. If you have, subscribe, watch. You've already watched. Subscribe, comment, and share this video with your loved ones. Spread the knowledge.